Hi, I'm Louise, Day Speech and Language Therapist, and for World Autism Awareness Month this April, I'm going to be talking about visuals. Visual supports can help children to communicate, but they can also help others to communicate with the child about things that are happening around them to help reduce anxiety. So visual supports can be really helpful for people who are autistic because they are quite concrete. So when we say something like we're going to the park, once we finish that sentence, those words can be lost, and the visual just backs up what's happening and gives the child another opportunity to process and another clue about what's happening. Visuals can also help with understanding, so they can help the child process, and they're seeing the picture and they're linking a picture to words. So that can really help because lots of children that are autistic can have differences in understanding spoken language. Visuals can help with uncertainty. So they can help a child if they don't know how long it's going to be until something's going to happen or in what order something's going to happen. So they can be really useful for speaking to a child about who's picking them up that day at school or nursery, or what's happening at the weekend, or when holidays are, and just to forewarn children about periods of uncertainty. Visuals can be great for helping children to communicate. For many children who are non-speaking, minimally speaking, or who have situational mutism, it can be really helpful for them to have pictures, technology, signs and signals for them to access so that they can communicate their needs and wants and feelings. So I'm going to show you a range of visuals that I've used with children. One of the visuals is an app. So if you go into your app store and search AAC, which stands for Augmentative and Alternative Communication, you'll get a range of grid-based apps where there will be pictures and also the spoken word on the app. So what you can do is you can go into, say for example, let's use I, and then we might go into a verb and we might say go, and then we might use a place like the park or outside, and then we tap the top. Tap the top.
I go outside.
And the child can be helped to build simple sentences. Now what's really important is that when you're teaching your child to use an app or a way to communicate like this, is that it's really important as a parent that you get used to using the system as well. Because just like you've spoken to your child from birth, if you're introducing a new language system like this app, then you need to be using it and speaking to the child and showing the child how to communicate with it. So it can take a lot of modelling and a lot of demonstration from you. So it's getting really familiar with the big vocabulary that's in here. We've got things like questions.
How?
So you can ask how. And we've got places, we've got food, we've got people, and often you can personalise these as well. So you can add in mum and dad, photos of siblings. We want to include language that's really relevant and meaningful to the child. So for example, I have a child who loves tornadoes. So we would want to put in some phrases about tornadoes. Hey, I'm tornado chasing. Oh, look at that big tornado. Things that are going to really entice the child and things that the child wants to communicate about. Another way to use visual supports that's quite simple is if you're going to visit a place with a child or you're going on holiday, you could search pictures on Google or on YouTube and videos, and you can watch these with your child, and it prepares your child for what things are going to look like, how the setup's going to be. It really just helps children to know in advance how things are going to look, and that's a really simple way. So you could do that when you're driving in the car on the way to somewhere. You could show your child a YouTube clip of the farm, or you could look at airport videos in advance. So that's a really simple way. Try to be consistent, pick some sort of system, keep it as simple as possible, and try and use it on a daily basis. You might just want to start out by using it when you leave the house, or you might want to start using it at a specific time of day, just to get yourself familiar with using it and into the habit. And then you can build on that, so you can start to add it in at other times of the day, and the child becomes more familiar with it and might start to seek out that visual support also. Make the visuals really relevant to the child, things that they enjoy, things in their environment, things that they want to talk about. Really involve your child and connect to what it is that interests them, because that's when you're going to get meaningful communication, when you're talking about the things that they love. Another way that I use visuals is often I'll print things for children and they get lost and ripped up and things, so just quickly writing down a little schedule for a child and drawing it out, and it can be really simple, can be helpful. So I've got like the days of the week written here, and then I've written like Monday school, and then Lego club, Tuesday granny's coming to pick up, Wednesday we're going on a bus trip, and just having a sort of diary or a visual for the child to see, and then they can come back to this and have a look through it themselves, and you can chat about what's happening, and it just helps to create that predictability, to involve your child in decisions. So you might want to say, oh, do you want granny or granddad to pick you up on Tuesday? And they can start to make choices. But it doesn't have to be fancy. We don't need lots of technology, laminated, printed things. We can just use the tools that we have, like post-it notes or paper and pen, and jot it down. So some things to remember about when you're using visuals is take your time with them and expect things to take time and the process to take time. Speak while you're using the visual, so while you're pointing to the items, speak at the same time so that the child's hearing the model and they could potentially repeat that or start to process it. If you want to find out more information about visuals, NAIT, N-A-I-T, have some visual supports on their website, and Emily Lee's Autistic SLT explains more about how visual supports can help autistic people. I hope you enjoy, and if you've got any questions, let me know.